Hello everyone, this is Linda from Inspired Art Journaling. This afternoon I'm going to be creating a journal. I'm joining in on the Hillbilly Scrapping Tapestry of Worldly Talents virtual retreat next weekend, and I want to create a journal that I can use for the art that we're going to be doing next weekend. So I thought I would do a video as well while I'm doing this, so that just in case there's some people who like to make journals themselves. I have done this before, and I thought, oh, this would be a nice way, as a nice remembrance for doing the retreat next week. And so I'm going to show you the process. I've done a bit of preparation with as far as printing and stuff like that goes, and I'll need to be doing a bit of cutting, etc. You won't need a lot of equipment for this. You will need your paper cutter. You'll need some, I use the very wide, what's this, I think it's about 45mm wide, double-sided tape. You can just use your thinner tape if that's all you've got, but I like this one. I just find it quite sturdy. I've got a couple of clips here in case I need them as well, and I've done a lot of printing from the Hillbilly Scrapping Retreat with all of the wonderful things that Fee has been developing for this retreat. So there's lots of things there to help you along. Also, I've got this tape here. This is a tape, I think I bought this at Spotlight, but I'm not sure. But it's a packaging tape, but it is a matte surface, and I'm going to use that for my spine because I felt it sort of blended in quite nicely with the map of the world and the book paper on the background there. So I thought that would be a nice inclusion. So I'll be using that, but you can use anything you like, but I'll explain all that process later. So I'll just move that out the way. Okay, so what I've been printing out from the Hillbilly Scrapping Virtual Retreat website, and yeah, so there's lots and lots of stuff there that Fee has developed and put up on the website, and so I thought, oh, I'll have a little bit of fun with it as well. And just so you know, so you probably can't see it there, but it's hillbillyscrapping.com, but I'll put some links up to that later. And yes, so she's got a lovely range of stuff in the shop there as well. So the passport, so it because there's all worldwide participants, sorry, I shouldn't say participants, guest artists, and so this is why I guess they've taken this theme, which I think it's a great little theme. Anyway, so this is the passport cover, and this is my take on the stuff that's been put up on the website. Certainly go on and have a look. There's lots of stuff that Jenny and lots of people have been putting up, so it's well worth having a look at. So to me, that's the cover of the passport that I've just printed out. Now what they also did was put up this stamps, you know, like passport stamps, and originally I did it like that on both sides, but then I decided to change my idea, and so now I've got half and half on here. That will become clear later on as we're doing this. So this is not a new idea. It's been around for years and years. I think Heidi Swap and Vicky Booton have done videos on it as well. So, you know, this is not my invention by any means. So I will keep that. I don't know what for, but I'll be using it. Also, as part of the retreat, you get this little boarding pass. I've just printed that out. Not sure how I'm using that yet. And also there's some little travel stamps as well, which I'll be using throughout the weekend. But today's purpose is purely just to do the journal that I'm making up. Now I have decided to use watercolor paper. This is just some old, not old, but leftover, I suppose you'd say, leftover A4 sheets of watercolor paper. The reason you don't have to use watercolor paper, I have actually got here, just to add a couple of sheets, I've just got the Beati white cardboard, 350 GSM. I've got two sheets of that in here somewhere, and so just to provide a little bit of interest. But the reason I prefer most times to do with the watercolor paper, in case I'm using something like Lindy's or watercolor paints or whatever, you know, it's just to give me more freedom, but doesn't necessarily mean I can always gesso over it if whatever the workshop I'm doing on the day, if I think it needs to be gessoed, I will do that. But I just think if I do work with watercolors or Lindy's Magicals, you get better results on watercolor paper. So that's why I've done that. Now I'm only making a small journal because, you know, I think it goes for, there's a class on Thursday night, and then there's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, there's several classes. I think there's about 12 or something like that, but I'm going to be participating as much as I can. Will I get the 12 done? I don't know. So I didn't want to make up a big journal and then only half fill it, because that would really bother me. So I thought I will just put a few pages in here, and then I can always use my other journal. Doesn't mean that those classes are of any less value. It just sometimes it might work for me to work in my craft journal or something like that. Plus my Emma Zapponi class wouldn't suit this anyway, so it would be done separately. So that's why I'm working with that. So I think I've got 8 pages here. So I'm being very 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, so I've got 8 class pages here. So if I get 8 done plus Emma's, that'll be really good for me. Okay, so the very first thing that I will do is we're going to fold up each of these pages. Has to be folded in half. So the book itself will be A5 size. So I'm just going to, I'll turn that sideways so I can, I mean, if you've got the little perforator on your cutting board, by all means use that. I do have one, but I couldn't be bothered changing the blade, so I'll just stick with this for now. Use my boning tool. So I'm just, whatever side you want to paint on, please make sure, because on these, the watercolour, there is a rough side and a smooth side. I want the rough side, so I'm making sure that the rough side is on the inside, because that's what I'm going to be working on when I do my wood chops. Okay, and so all the same for all of these. Just be careful, make sure you've got them all lined up. It has to be as precise as possible, because we're going to have to line all these up in a minute. So I need them pretty accurate. Do it in any configuration that you like. You might want to put some Yupo paper in here, you know, I mean, as long as you know what kind of mediums you're going to be using on the pages, you know, you've got to think that as well. You can put some book paper in here if that's what you want. You can kind of make it a junky journal as well if you wish. And if you go onto the website, you see all the beautiful junk journals that the girls have made, various girls have made. Now, even this one here, I am going to fold that into the middle. These are going to be the inside covers of my journal. So try and make those as solid as you can. So this is where I need to make sure. So that's the facing up. So that is actually going to the back. That's the back. Okay. And I want it to open up like, or do I? Yes, I do. So I don't get confused, I'm going to write on here, top, front, and top, back. Just make sure I've got that right. Okay, yep. Alright, so there you go. That's how thick my little journal's going to be. And I will show you how I'll put that on after. That's one of the later steps. Okay, so here we go. This is where it gets a little bit, once you get the hang of what you're doing, it's great. You just got to get yourself into a routine and it becomes quite easy, and you know, so, but just make sure you've got everything in facing the right way before you start putting your tape on, because you're not going to be able to take it apart. Now, first thing I will do is get my scissors. These little fellas will do. So I try and mark it up as close as possible to the right size. Now, I put it as close to the edge. So if it's a bit shorter, I always make sure it's right up to the edge on one side, okay? And if there's any left over, you can always take it off. So I've got that there. Now, what I'll do is, this is my way of doing it. You know, when you start doing it, you might work out your own little routine, but once you've sort of worked out what you're meant to do. So I try and put these things as close to the edge as possible. Just leave that, and then I'll turn it sideways. Now I get a little bit pedantic with this. You know, you might not want to get quite as pedantic as me. Okay, and then I will put one in the middle. And sometimes I'll put on the angle, so I'm sort of covering as much area as possible. So that's pretty much one page done. I'm just going to cut that edge off a bit because it went over, it wasn't straight enough. Okay. Now always, if you pick it up and throw it around like this, please make sure you've always got it facing the same, you know, everything's going into the same direction. So now, what I'm going to do now is, this page here has to come over and is pasted down onto that page. Okay? And this is where you just have to be careful of what you're doing. So I'll just grab, I'll grab, honestly, alright, so you can get yourself in, you'll have lots of bits hanging around, and if it's not down properly, just go like, you know, just push it down. I mean, you girls are paper crafters, you don't need me telling you how to apply tape. Now, this is the part that you have to be really careful with. You know, if there's that one thing that's really important, you have, with this, and this is where you can get yourself all upside down too. This part here, it's really important that these folded edges here are directly on top of each other. If you just sort of whack it down and then you whack the next one on top and then the next one on top, eventually you'll end up with something like, if you don't line it up properly, you'll end up with your pages on an angle, but you've got to make sure that they're always flat across the top there when you put it down, okay? So that is what you just need to double check before you do anything, okay? Make sure you've got the folded edges together. So this is where sometimes I will do this. I will put that there. And hopefully I've got that okay. Alright, so now I've got that page, then I turn over and that's my first paintable page. Okay, so now I'm going to stick that down. I just find it easier to always do the tape onto here. So again, I just go through this. Now this will get long and boring because you're watching me do this. You're lucky I've only got 6, 8 pages. I've done them with a lot more. Once you get the hang of it, you know, it sort of goes pretty quickly. So if you've got everything folded and all that sort of thing, you've got your measurements all pretty good. Oops. What's up in there? Like I say, I get pretty pedantic with this. You know, to cut it. Oh. Like that. And just cut it a little bit smaller. Just making sure my big noggin is not in the way. Then I'll chop a little bit in the middle. And I just angle it off as much as possible, that way I've sort of got a bit of coverage. Okay, put that aside. Let's go here. Let's get rid of this. Oh, paper stuck underneath there. It's alright. Just make sure they're down before you rip it off. Okay, so now I'm going to bring this over to here, and I need to make sure that I am lined up. So sometimes I like to turn it here because I want it lined up. You will eventually find what works for you, okay? So just be mindful where you're placing it. So if you do find yourself going a little bit off edge, and you will, because, you know, I mean, I can see there I'm going a little bit off edge already. I just rectified on the next one. So just double check it, because if you just keep going on the same way all the time, you will eventually be, you know, form an angle on it. And you don't want that. Again, this side. And look, you know, they're not going to be perfect. So, you know, I've made a few of these actually, and you know, I go a little bit haywire occasionally. Once you've done your painting on it, you don't even see it. Right, a little bit here. Like to make sure the borders are kind of done. There's no gaps. Not much of a gap anyway. Like I say, you can just use this thinner tape if that's all you've got. I opted to buy the thicker one because I knew I was going to make a few of these. And yeah. Watch. All right, so you will soon find your go-to niche with this. So I'm just going to push that one. Just needs to come back. So honestly, just make sure when you do it that you just keep double checking. So your pages are pretty good. I mean, you know, that one's a little bit off there. I mean, I can cut that off if I wish. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It's a little bit off there. But honestly, it's looking pretty good. Because your paper might be a bit different too, because I'm using the two different types. Alright, so once you get yourself on a roll, it's pretty cool. Keep remembering those few important little details about putting them together. I do like to take the bit, I'll take that off. So, got all the lists of stuff that we need for the different teachers next week. But I'll need to go back on and just make sure there's been no changes or I've got all the information I need, and then sort out what I've done. It's really it's great little retreat. I did one last year as well, and Jenny's very generous with her prizes and stuff like that. She's very dedicated to what she's doing, and yeah, so I participated last year, and I thought, oh, do it again. She holds them twice a year. And, so you can buy the kits for all the different classes that are on. If you can't afford to buy the kits, you can still do the classes. You obviously just substitute whatever you have at home to do. So yes, so a lot of them, I think I've got so much stuff here, I should be able to pretty much do as many as I'd like and have reasonable stock product here that I can use. But yeah, so, and it's becoming bigger and more known. It's kind of worldwide. I think she's got a couple of people from Denmark or something doing it somewhere. Norway or something like that, and lots of South African ladies are joining, which is good. And she does have a special pricing offer. Or look, it might be too late for you to join for this one. You'd have to talk to them about that because it's next weekend and kits have to be sent out. But overseas people might be able to still join in. I'm not sure. You'd have to talk to Jenny about that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Told my hubby that I'll be unavailable next weekend because I do want to do as many of the classes as I can. but I just don't want to overcommit myself if something, you know, the wheels fall off during the week and I can only do a couple. Right. Oops. Some more stuck under it. I've had that before, and I seem to be doing it all the time today. So I can see I'm getting a little bit of an angle going on there, so I'm just going to push this back a bit. Yeah, I can see I'm just got a little bit of an angle. That's okay. Should have, well, we'll do a good job of that one. Let's look at the window. Okay, what is it? I'm halfway through now. If you want to go and make a cup of tea, by all means, go and make a cup of tea. Because all I'm doing is the same thing for the next, what is it, 25 minutes. So for about the next 20 minutes, I'll be doing the same thing. You might want to skip through some of this. You kind of get the idea of what I'm doing. I need to clean off my scissors, that's why it all keeps getting stuck underneath. Oh, here's my tape for it. Oh dearie me, Linda. Dreadful job with this today. I've never had that before. It's because I'm kind of in a hurry. Oh, I'm just doing it at my own pace. Okay. Right. Wherever possible, I like to make little journals when it's something special like this, just to sorry I'm not talking, but I mean there's, what you're seeing is the same thing happening over and over again. Okay, just double checking I'm on the right. much. This is why I'm getting sticky bits all over the place, because I'm pulling up too. I'm not measuring, I'm just cutting. Brilliant tape. This is the expressive one, which I like to use. So just as you're doing it, just don't forget to keep looking. I'm not doing too bad a job this time. It's usually always one that sort of goes, okay, right now, look at this, I'm on to my last one. So, oops, see, I almost moved that wrong. Always double check before, especially when you're gluing this stuff on, because you're never going to get it all. A little bit too. Top, back, top, front, yep, got that. Oh, okay, last one. That's the way. Let's get the last one up. Okay. Alright, so there you go. Half an hour to do that, not too bad, almost. Half an hour. So I'm pretty happy with it. So I'll just have a look, I'll get you to have a look at the top. So you can sort of see I'm pretty happy with the spine there of what I've done. I don't know if you can sort of see it on the camera, just looking at my, so you can sort of see they're kind of all lined up. There might be a few little scrappy bits somewhere, but that's okay. But now I've got myself a nice little journal, an A4 landscape spread for each of these pages. And they're nice sturdy pages, and so I'm looking forward to that, to using this, okay? And that's the back cover, put some stamps or something on it. Now we've got to put this on. Now you can't just wrap it around because it's going to be too small, okay? So what I need to do is chop this in half. Let me just get rid of all my papers that are here. So That back there for the minute. All right, where am I? Okay, so yes, we've got this. So what I will do is grab my little paper cutter. So I didn't need my clips after all that, which is pretty cool. So let me just make sure, just okay, 29.7. Going to do it about there. Always trim it off a bit if it isn't quite right, because I know I'll get one off like, oh my goodness me, have a look at that. Holy moly. Okay, well done, Linda. All right, so now I've got the front and the back of my journal. Same diff. Okay, back with the tape again. This time I'm going to put this obviously on here, and then the one on the back, okay, and then I'll use the tape for the spine. So, one more time, just make sure you've got the front and the fronts all lined up properly. So exactly the same as what we did before. It's going to look pretty cool. Problem is, a lot of the time I prefer not to do the covers straight away, but obviously with this, because I'm such a messy painter, that over the weekend this thing's going to get paint all over it. Anyway, that's okay. I can move that out. If I'm worried. I'm getting pretty excited because I know how much fun I had the last time doing the retreat, so I'm quite looking forward to doing it again. I wished I'd found out about these sooner. These are pretty cool. Nice bunch of ladies. And I know a few of my friends from Inspired Art Journaling do it as well, so that's nice. A nice little community thing happening there, cross community, which is cool. That's what I like about these things. The ladies are all pretty. Now this one is where I will make sure that I'm lined up at the front, because I can always trim or something at the back there. I always want to make sure I've got this one correct. Just roll that down there and smooth it. Oh God, something stuck in it. I can't believe it. Anyway, it's a mouse under the carpet. Oh, so annoying. Alright. Yep, so it's not looking too bad, not too shabby. Alright, so cross it over, make sure. Okay, top this side, top that side. Okay, fold that back. Always double check, you know, what is it, measure twice, cut once, that kind of thing. Oops, sorry, off camera. Gosh, I hope I wasn't all off camera before. Now, like I say, I'm very fussy about this. You may not do as much tape as what I've done, but you know, I don't have any problems with my books falling apart or anything like that. So I think it's pretty obvious I make them quite sturdy. Right, okay, so this one, just turn that over, make sure we're in the right spot. Again, I'm just going to make sure this end is right. Beautiful. Oh, grab that, sitting there like that. There we go. No one will see it. All right, so that's there. So you can see here, I've just got the nice little spine that we have to do. And so then my book is looking pretty cool. So the idea of what I was going to do was, as I, these are all the stamps for the different teachers that are teaching. So, I'll put a little stamp or something. I don't know what I'll be doing there with that. Get rid of this, and then I shall quickly show you the spine, and that'll be it. So you can choose to do one or not. Now, I really love this. Sorry, that's the first time I'm using it, so I've just got to find the edge of it. This is a bit thinner than the normal one that I have, but it's just I was just in Spotlight one day and I thought, oh, I'll grab more of that because I needed more, because I normally buy it from Officeworks in their packaging department, their posting, and it's usually a little bit wider, but I haven't even tested this actually. So if I put that there, yeah, that's good, because I'll just have about a centimetre on each side, whereas the other one, so they're both 45, the other one is definitely 50mm that I have used before. So, I better just double check this, I don't know. Okay, centimetre on each side, okay. So I'm just going to chop a big bit off, and I'm just going to do, I'm eyeballing it, but you can measure it if you wish. Okay, so then as I come across over here, I'm pushing it very tightly, rubbing it down. I'll just bring that up a bit more. Okay. And then lay that down, and then just very tightly push that down. Now I have in the past too, I should see if I can find, I'll just quickly just on here. Oh, okay. Now, this one here I made, and it's got the 49er Market tape, that big cloth tape that it's got the butterflies on it. So I covered that whole thing with that. Same with this one here, 49er Market. I think I used their paper for that, and then I've just bound it with the tape. This one here and this one here, I've actually used, now I don't know if you can still buy it or not, but I used the Dina Wakley 2-inch canvas tape. Stuck that on there, which is very sticky, but I printed on it before I did it, so that's another little journal I've done. And also this one here too. Good for leftover papers. I haven't done anything with that one yet. I was just obsessed with making books. But again, that's the 2-inch canvas. And then this one here, I did this for Be Arty, using their papers and just making a lovely little book with lots of their papers. But again, that's the tape. It's a different brand tape, but again, I used the tape and just stenciled over the tape to give it a little bit of pattern, a bit of interest on it. So you can see that they come up quite a treat. I'll just sort of leave them all there so you can see them. But yeah, so it was quite fun. So now I'm just going to snip this off as best I can, make it as neat as I can. I'll just get that a bit more. Alright. Okay. Right, so I mean I could look when I did this one here, I actually stenciled that on in situ there, you know, so you know I could go through and put some stamping or something on here. I don't know, I'll see how I go. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell, ladies. I've done my retreat passport journal. Like I say, I can cut those off and just stick them all in there somewhere. Yeah, so I toyed with the idea, do I stick them on here when I've done it or whatever, I just don't know. But you can see there now that I've, with all the glue, I've got these beautiful pages, nice sturdy pages, all stuck together, ready to be utilised on the weekend. So I'm looking forward to it now. It's starting to get real that it is happening. And yeah, so I'm quite excited, and I hope I get to see a lot of you there next week. So thank you for joining in, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks guys, see ya, bye bye.